Good morning. Welcome to the fourth episode of English for Olive Online. Today we are going to be putting ideas together. So I'm going to need a lot of help from you. Hopefully the things that we look at and listen to will give us lots of ideas to start with, and then we will build our sentences out of what we think, instead of using my little examples. So welcome. As usual, go ahead and say hi to everyone in the chat if you haven't. If you want your camera on, that's great. If you've got enough bandwidth to do it, it's lovely to see each other's smiling faces and be in the classroom together. It's nice. Fantastic. Do raise your hand if you've got a question, but please don't be afraid to speak as well. Also, questions always welcome in the chat, questions or suggestions. Always welcome in the chat. We'll be patient with each other and all of our different learning levels. And yeah, so, right. So welcome. What will we do today? Today, we are going to listen a bit to a couple of articles, a couple of quick clips from the BBC, and then we will discuss these, hopefully. And then we will come up with some of our best ideas. We'll just put some ideas on the screen, and I'm going to need your help for this. And then we will take those ideas and build them into short sentences. And then we'll put the short sentences that go together into our big, complex and compound sentences. So, but all from our own ideas today. So let's start with one little 1-minute English. How do we use the word wish in English? What do we say? What do we mean? What are we talking about? Well, let's go to the BBC and find out.
Hi everyone, Tom here from BBC Learning English in London, and today I'm going to tell you what to say after the word wish. When we're talking about wishes, we're talking about situations that are imaginary or unreal. To show this, after saying I wish, we use the past to talk about the wish, which is in the present. So I could say, I wish I had a cup of tea. Thank you. Now, if we want to make a wish about the past, we need to use the past past or the past perfect. For example, I wish I had chosen a more formal shirt before I filmed this video today.
Right, shall I run it a second time just so that we've got 2 chances to listen? Yes? Okay.
Hi everyone, Tom here from BBC Learning English in London, and today I'm going to tell you what to say after the word wish. When we're talking about wishes, we're talking about situations that are imaginary or unreal. To show this, after saying I wish, we use the past to talk about the wish, which is in the present. So I could say, I wish I had a cup of tea. Thank you. Now, if we want to make a wish about the past, we need to use the past past or the past perfect. For example, I wish I had chosen a more formal shirt before I filmed this video today.
Okay. So, there we go. So there we go. We've had a little bit of an introduction of how we talk about wishes in English. So just as a reminder, we've got this. If I'm wishing for myself, as he was, I wish I had a cup of tea, or in the past, I wish I had chosen. So I'm wishing for something now. I wish I had a cup of tea. Oh, and then if he's wishing something that he had done before, I wish I had chosen a better shirt. So, but when we're wishing for someone else, we usually say, I wish you well. Or if we're talking about the past, I wish you had time to visit. I wish you could stay for tea. So we've got the present, I wish you well now. Past, I wish you, actually, if I say, I wish you had time to visit, are you currently here or am I talking about the past?
ባለፈው
So that's in the present. But so if we were going to do the um,
ያው ልጅ ስለሆንኩ እኮ ስለምግብ ብቻ ነው የምታስበው።
we want to do the past, have to change it
እናንተ
one way.
ተንጠረጠረች እንዴ?
Stuff when you're not talking,
ሰዎች ነው
please.
ወሰደልኝ ያለ እኔ ይሄን ወሰድኩ። ከዛ ይሄ ሁለት እኮ ነበር እና ለብቻ ተንጠረጠረች።
Right. Thank you.
እኔ ከዛ ነው ጠረው ድረስ ይሄን ነው የሆነልኝ።
አጭር ናት ኢቭን እኮ ላንተ
አዎ እኮ እኔማ እዚህ ጋር ነው ቀረች እዚህ ጋር
Okay, there we go. Right. Please do keep your microphone muted, unless you are contributing to the class, please. Thank you. All right. So, yes, I've made I need a small change here because what we've really got is another present here. So I'm going to flip this out and put a dash in here. So those are both the present. And if we were really talking about the past, it would be, I wish you, and this is going to sound very strange because we don't usually repeat words. I wish you had time to visit. So that's the past perfect of have. All right. I wish you had time to visit. That means it was that last time you were here. If I say, I wish you had time to visit, I'm sorry you have to go, that means you are here. Hopefully you can see the difference between wishes. So if we're talking about the future, we usually use hope. I hope you have a pleasant journey. I hope you have a very good day. All right. So if we're talking about the future, we use hope. When we talk about things that in the immediate or distant past, then we say we wish. Okay. Excellent. All right. So there we go. We've got a little bit of this. But so now, so we've got a little bit of grammar on wishing and hoping. Let's look at our subject we're going to talk about, because maybe we can use this in our sentences. So let's look at one more little, this is a 6-minute English on this question. Is being kind good for you? So let me get to that and we will have another listen as soon as I am able to. Oh, wait a minute. I've got to stop sharing for a second because I can't get to the taskbar. There we go. There we are. Now I could go back. All right. And we've got the sound on. Excellent. So here we are. We're on 6-minute English. Let's listen to and find out if we can find the answer. Is being kind good for you? And I will scroll through the transcription of it as we go. All right.
6-minute English
from bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello, this is 6-minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Sam.
And I'm Neil. In this programme, we're discussing something we've heard a lot about during the pandemic, kindness. When was the last time you did something kind for someone else, Sam?
I gave my mum flowers last week.
Ah, that was kind. How did it feel?
It felt good, knowing I'd made her happy.
Right. It's something that psychologists are starting to prove scientifically, but that most of us knew all along. We feel just as good being kind to someone else as when someone is kind to us.
It reminds me of something called a random act of kindness. Have you heard of that, Neil?
Yes, things like helping a stranger cross the road. Small, everyday things people do to help others for no other reason than to make them happy.
Yes, and one of the main benefits of being kind is that we feel the kindness in ourselves. It's called the gift that keeps on giving, and it reminds me of my quiz question. In 2021, a global survey conducted for the BBC's kindness test asked people to name their top 5 random acts of kindness. So which kind act came top? Was it A, giving someone a smile, B, giving someone a hug, or C, giving someone your time to just listen?
They all sound wonderful, but what I'd really like is a nice big hug.
Okay, Neil, we'll find out later if that's the right answer.
Now, that good feeling Sam got from giving her mum flowers is something psychologists have become very interested in. During the past decade, over 1,000 academic papers were written, including the term kindness.
The author of one such paper is Dr. Dan Campbell-Meiklejohn, senior psychologist at the University of Sussex and researcher for the BBC's kindness test.
Here is Dr. Campbell-Meiklejohn discussing his findings with BBC World Service programme Health Check.
What we know from the science is, and what can seem counterintuitive, because giving can cost something of ourselves, is that we can experience a sense of reward when we are kind to others. So like when we eat a yummy food or have a pleasant surprise, the parts of our brain that help us remember these nice experiences and motivated us to do them again and again, they become active when we're kind. And we call this feeling a warm glow.
Usually giving something away, money, for example, means we no longer possess it. But kindness is different. Both the giver of kindness and the receiver experience what Dr. Campbell-Meiklejohn calls a warm glow, an inner feeling of happiness.
Nevertheless, for some people, giving something away equals losing it. So for them, being kind seems counterintuitive, opposite to the way you expect things should happen.
But on a chemical level, the brain doesn't agree. For our brain, being kind feels as good as any other pleasurable activity. For example, eating something yummy, something delicious, which tastes good.
Okay, Sam, I can see that being kind is great in my personal life, but what about the ruthless world of business or politics? Surely there's no place for kindness there.
It's true that in many countries, politics involves fierce debate and criticism of anyone who disagrees with you. But there are those who believe it doesn't have to be like that.
Jennifer Nagel, for one. She's co-director of a movement called Compassion in Politics and author of the book We, written with the actor Gillian Anderson.
Listen as Jennifer explains her vision to BBC World Service programme Health Check.
Compassionate leadership leads to inclusive, cooperative outcomes which lead to fairer societies, lower crime rates, higher levels of health and well-being. And yet we have this idea that compassion somehow doesn't belong, that it can be dismissed in the same way as women have been dismissed as something fluffy and a nice idea, but not really practical. But in fact, the science behind compassion is that it actually takes courage to act with compassion.
Jennifer wants politics to be based on compassion, a strong feeling of empathy with the suffering of others and a wish to help them.
She says kindness is something dismissed as fluffy, soft and woolly, something not considered serious or important. But in fact, being compassionate is not easy and takes courage.
Jennifer's is a strong voice for a kinder, more compassionate society. But I bet even she could use a random act of kindness now and again. Maybe a hug?
That's right, Neil. A hug was one of the top 5 random acts of kindness I asked about in my quiz question, along with smiling and listening. But which came out on top?
I said it was B, giving someone a hug. So, was I right?
Giving a hug was the wrong answer, I'm afraid. The number 1 random act of kindness was A, giving a smile. But don't worry, Neil, I have a big hug waiting for you here.
Thanks, Sam. That's so kind. Okay, let's recap the vocabulary from this discussion about random acts of kindness. Small things people do to be kind to others.
Something counterintuitive doesn't happen in the way you expect it to.
Yummy means delicious or tasting very good.
A warm glow describes the pleasant inner feeling of happiness at doing something kind.
Compassion is a feeling of sympathy for the suffering of others and a wish to help them.
And finally, something fluffy is soft and woolly, not considered serious or important.
Our 6 minutes are up, but if you've enjoyed this programme, why not go out and perform your own random act of kindness? Goodbye for now.
Bye.
6 Minute English
from the BBC.
Right. So what I will do, I won't repeat this one because it's a bit long, but I will definitely give you the link in the chat so that you've got it right to hand. So that should, yeah, that's the one. There we go. So if you want to listen to it again later, you can. But let's talk about kindness. What do you think? What did you hear? What's one thing you heard that you think you might that you remember from what we just listened to? A smile or a hug? Exactly. Okay. So they talked about smiles and hugs. And now's your chance. What do you think? What's different? Do you agree with what they said? Do you think kindness makes you feel better? Excellent. Good. Great. So, awesome. Yeah, being compassionate. So, yeah, and something as simple as a smile can do this too. Very good. I think we're going to have some great sentences later on. Very nice. Yeah, I think giving someone time just to listen to them is an excellent way of, is one of the best kindnesses you can do. Very good. Excellent. All right. So think about that, carry that on, and I think what we'll do. So let's think about for a minute, what do you think it means to be kind? What do you think it means to be kind? Yeah, I'm tempted to do breakout rooms. We can definitely turn microphones on and have a discussion about this. That's what I would really like. So if you've got ideas. So what I'd like us to do to build up to our sentences is let's think about, what are the ideas? What does kindness mean? What are you doing when you're kind? And what are examples of kindness? And see if we can build up some ideas on the board. Now, if you can use the annotate, go ahead and do that. You can use the pencil icon. If you're on a desktop system, it should be in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. And now if you're on the web app, unfortunately, if you're on a browser app, it won't work. But that's great. Excellent. So you have lots of choices. You can type. You can definitely turn your microphone on and give some answers. And I think this is a nice, there we go. So, there we go. We can pull out some of these. There we go. And because we don't have an editor in the chat, I'll help you with these. That's the word you were looking for, yes? Milat? And what are some examples of kindness that you can think of? Ooh, actually, that's beautiful. Lily, I love that one. So we're going to put a couple of these up. Oh, there we go. So let's think of some examples as well. So there's the ideas of what does it mean to be kind, and then there's also examples. What are things that you can do that are kind? So examples of kindness. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. Excellent. That's good too. So I'm going to try and take as many of these up as I can. There we go. Excellent. Oops. Remembering what I have to click to do these things. That's a really good example. Very good. Excellent. We're going to run over. There we go. No worries. Those are some great examples of kindness. Well done. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Should probably have changed the font size, but there we are. Oh, well done, everyone. This is great. Right. And some of these, like we should help our parents at home. Why? What are the reasons for kindness? So let's think about that. Examples. We can also think about reasons for being kind. Why should we be kind? Yeah, what are some of the ideas of why should we be kind? There we go. Oh, yeah, I definitely need to bring these all down to 18 and make them all smaller. Well done. Okay. So, oops, I'm always picking up the wrong thing and moving it. There we go. Okay. Now we can see more of them. Good job. All right. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I like all of these reasons. These are great reasons. Excellent. There we go. And I do like that. Yes, it does. Yes, that is so good. I like that a lot. We know each other's needs. It's really true. It's not that hard to figure out, is it? We all know that we need a little bit. Oops. There we go. We all know that we need food. We need to feel warm. We need people to smile, to think, oh yeah. When we think about what it means to be human and to have all the same needs, it makes some of the bad things that happen seem just inexplicable. We don't need to have conflict. Is not natural to the human condition, is it? It's not what we need. Very good. Excellent. Well, those are some brilliant ideas. Oh, think I've missed, I think one disappeared probably. Okay. Let's see if I can find some more of those examples. All right. So Really good. Really good. Yeah. And there we are. So wonderful. We've got these great ideas. Now, many of these are already in some lovely short sentences, and that's very good. Right, so I need control, that's the one, and to make that a little bit smaller. So, right, so let's look at some of the words that we can help. Yeah, there we go. Let me just bring this down to a size where we can read them off. There we go. Right. Now, let's look at some of the words that help us put these sentences together. These are the same connectors that we're also going to use in writing essays when we come back from our break. So let's take a quick look. These are words that add structure. Okay, and the ways that we can add structure, we can use ordering with some of these words. So these are words that put things in a particular order. First, second, third, fourth. Firstly, I would like to say that we have words for ordering. And of course, we always put things last, finally, or at the end. Exactly. Secondly, we have words for addition, adding things. So I might say, so we could take one of these ideas, one example. You can just listen to people, but in addition, you can allow them to say their mind. All right. It's a way of adding information. So in addition, additionally, furthermore, all of these, if you use furthermore, you are adding something bigger to explain what you are doing. Oh, very good. Ooh. Oh, this is some really, really good chats. I'm going to make sure that we save this chat because these are some really fantastic ideas. And yeah, I'm going to make sure that I copy all the ideas from the chat into this PDF at the end so that you can use them to write further about kindness as well. And then, of course, we have all of the words that we use to introduce an example. And the best way of getting a point across is to use a really good example. But if there is something that is particularly or specifically or obviously or clearly important, we can use the stress words to point out how vital, how important how important that information is. So, but if we want to contrast something, all right. So admittedly, being kind is better. However, sometimes there are people who will not listen and are determined to be unkind. Maybe they have some pain that they cannot express, and so they are just angry with everyone. It's sad, but it happens. So I have added that contrast using however. All right. We all try to be kind, but nevertheless, occasionally I will do something without knowing it's unkind. And I'm always sorry when I do. All right. So we can use nevertheless, even though. All of these introduce contrasting, a contrast, a comparison. We also can use words to show causes and effects. Because being kind makes everyone feel better, I think it results, consequently, when there's kindness shown, the world is a better place. All right. So we can show a cause, the kindness, the effect. Everyone is a little bit happier. And there we go. Stating our opinions. How do we begin those? All right. How do we begin an opinion? We can say, in my opinion, but we can also say, I think, I believe, I admit, in my view. Owing to, yes. Let me come up with one. So, owing to is the same as due to. Um, hmm. So if I'm talking about the fact that I did not sleep very well last night, I could say that my inability to think clearly is owing to my lack of sleep, or my bad night's sleep last night. All right. That's one way I would say. All right. My head might be a little fuzzy. I could be a little tired owing to my lack of sleep. Okay. Or I could say, I'm very tired today since I couldn't sleep very well last night. So there's lots of ways to say that. And then, of course, there's always conclusions. So we use in conclusion, to conclude, to sum up. Can you think of any others? Sometimes we start with, as you can see. And then we restate our thesis. As you can see, it only takes a little kindness to make the world slightly better. Right. Accordingly, yes. Let's think of ways that we can use accordingly. Hence, thus, yes. So, yeah, the information was so conclusive that they made the decision to continue accordingly. Accordingly means an accord is an agreement. So it means that your actions are in agreement with the ideas presented. So now that we all know that kindness makes us feel better, we can act accordingly. All right. So let's look at some of these ideas. Which ones do you think go together? All right. So find an idea on this side or write one of your own and find an example over here that works with it. How would you put them together? All right. This is our chance to take these and put them together. We've got short sentence. So we've got kindness means being simple and easy with others. I like that. It's very nice. So let's, ooh. Okay, I didn't think this through completely. I want to take all of these and put them into a chart so that we can put them together. So see if we can put these together. What do you think? All right. Right. So let's take one idea. What's your favorite of the ideas here of what it means to be kind? Let's take one of these. Let's take this one. So we've got our short sentences. Let's try this one. That's a nice short sentence. All right. Which of these, what would you put as an example? How would you use that as an example? So we've got kindness helps to lift others and to strengthen them. What would be a good example of that? Now, some of them have already got our sticky words, our connectors in there. So if I take that out, there we go. So we've got a good sentence there. I'm going to turn this into a sentence. We can, oh, all right, there's another short sentence. What do we think? Any preference? If our classmates need help with assignments, we can help them. What do you think? So how about we take this sentence down? So there we go. Now we've got a list here. So this looks like a compound sentence, but is it a compound sentence? We've got some ands. When we were covering the sentences before in previous classes, I was using and only as a connector, but we can use it to list multiple items like food, clothing, and other basic needs. So this is still a simple sentence. Where's the verb in this one? Right? There's our verb. Now, this one's already compound. Well, it's almost. Actually, helps is our verb here. Okay. So can you see how to join these? Well, helps. And what does it help? We've got two infinitives, right? To lift and to strengthen. So kindness helps. All right. Kindness is the thing that's the subject. What it does is help. And then we've got two infinitives. It helps. What does it help? It helps to lift and to strengthen. Right? So how would we put these two sentences together? What would you do? Can you figure out how to do that? Now, if I had done this in proper short sentences, I would have stopped this one there. Oops. That's supposed to be an N. There we go. So we can help and we can provide. All right. So, I might do, let me just do this real quick. I'm going to give you the connector words. Oh, yeah, never mind, not that. I'm going to use, oops. Oh, is this not allowing me to do a selection? Huh, how curious. No. Oh, I guess I will have to do this. Right. So there we go. Got that. The heck happened? No. Delete. Come on. Oh, admin restrictions. Okay, I'm not allowed to send a file. Sorry about that. Okay, such as, yes. Very good. Sorry about that. So I'm going to give you these three sentences. And there we go. And yes. Okay. Yes, such as works very well. Please do messages to the whole chat. Otherwise, we end up with separate things. So I just ended up sending things to an individual instead of, and now it's not working. Okay. Copy. Paste. For instance, yes, very good. So there's lots of ways that we could combine this to make a longer sentence. We can do these in separate sentences. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I keep not hitting send on these. So we've got that and we've got this. So, but I do like the way you're thinking. So there we go. There's our full set of sentences. Now you've got those in the chat. Let me just, so what we can do is start with, so as we know, we can use, so we're introducing an idea. We can use as we know, owing to, due to, since. Which would we like to use? Or even just because? So what will we put? Firstly, the definition of meaning. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, please do write one. Okay. So just doing something. Yes. And how would we introduce our example? We could say our opinion at this point. So we put a comma in there. Oops. I hate it does that. Can anyone type better than me? Yes. Oh, yep, you can write it the other way around as well, because kindness helps to lift others and strengthen them. That's very good. That's very good. Well done. And yes, we can do it the other way around as well. I like that, Wilfred. Thank you. Really good. Yep. There we are. And this is one of those we could even put in a semicolon and make it one sentence. So that is a very complex compound sentence. Excellent job. Is that what you meant, Mulat, when you said that about putting the idea first? Right. Excellent. Good. Okay. Any other ideas? Great. Mm-hmm. That's another good one. Let's try some more. So let's take, I think, Mulat, you've got a really good sentence there. Let's break it down to make it really clear. So we would say, to be kind or show kindness means and we don't need that there. It means doing positive things. And we don't usually consider doing something to someone as kind. We use for. So we do something for someone who is in need of our help in a difficult time of his life or circumstances. Right. Really clear. All right. So just a few small changes, but hopefully you can see how that works together. Can you see that? We're defining something, so we're going to refer it as to be kind because it's an action. All right, so to be kind or show kindness. What is an example that you would use? Who would like to put together an example for this? So we're building these sentences by putting in the idea and then the example. So what would you use as an example for doing positives for things for someone who is in need of our help? You're doing okay? So we could use, giving some clothes. How about the classroom example? Let's try that. So how would we incorporate this? All right. So we've got this beginning of this sentence. Hello, Micah. Let's try, how would we add this? What's an additive word? Remember in our examples, we could use for instance or such as. For example, that's the easy one. All right, there we go. There we go. For example, or for instance, either one would do. We could use for instance. All right. So at this point, you now have a nice big fat compound complex sentence. And who can find the active verb? Where is the active verb in this sentence? What is our subject? We've got a compound subject, pretty complicated. Oh, very nice. No. What does it mean to be kind? It means doing positive things for someone who needs our help. It's the meaning, the having meaning is the verb in this one. Okay. So to be kind or show kindness, that is our subject. I'm trying to remember. I think, yeah, the subjects were, I think they were in, I can't remember from our Lego blocks. I suppose it doesn't matter. Okay, to be kind or show kindness, that's our subject. And our object is doing positive things for someone who is in need of our help in a difficult time of his life or circumstances. There is so much packed into this. And then we have, for instance. And do you notice that the whole thing boils down to kindness means doing positive things. We could use just this section, and that's really the whole sentence. Right? So, well, I hope that this has been helpful in showing you how to take some ideas, get them into short sentences, and then to combine them into a compound and complex sentence. We'll be using a similar method to come together to throw a lot of ideas up and to make a paragraph after the break. Right now, we're going to take 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back for the IELTS listening test review today. We're going to be practicing the IELTS listening test. So those of you who have been here from the start, you've already had a warm up with lots of listening. So I'm going to now pause. There we go. I'm going to pause the recording. There we go. Oops, wait a minute. No, I need to pause the recording. There we go. Right, welcome back, everyone. So I have included in the chat a link to one of my favorite YouTube English teachers, the only one that I trust for IELTS. She gives all the right advice, and she has in her vocabulary playlist a terrific video on linking words. So once again, very much like the chart that I gave you, looking at ways of linking information and the different words that you can use to do this. So do take a look at that. In fact, I think I'm going to start the IELTS section right now by taking a look at her YouTube page. Honestly, I really recommend that you watch as many of these as you can if you're preparing for the IELTS. But they're also very good for basic grammar and vocabulary to expand. She's got one on what are the different ways, what better ways are there than to say very? Oh, it's a very beautiful day, or she's a very nice person. There's other ways, there's other words, and I'll let her show you the way. Here, let me just share her page for a second. So this is Asia. She's got fantastic advice. Her company is called Fast Track IELTS, but her free materials on YouTube are really worth the time to listen. So some of them are focused on band levels, but she does have a full section, a nice playlist on listening strategies. So we're going to see some of these, and we're going on her channel. She has several of them where she talks you through and gives you the opportunity to try some of the listening questions. So I really do recommend her channel. And I will be starting the IELTS section with her, a link to, there we go, a link to her playlist on the listening exam. So, like I said, she's the only person I found online who teaches the way I do. And she has a lot of success with her students, and I'll be honest, so do I. So I'm very happy that I've got people, that I've helped people get their places in a lot of universities. And that is absolutely what I'm here for. So let's get started with our PowerPoint. There we go. So off we go on the listening exam. So I'm going to do a quick review of what the exam is about, and then we'll carry on. So the listening test is roughly 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. If you're taking the paper exam, you will be writing your answers on the question sheet and then copying them over to the answer sheet at the end. If you're taking the online, you do not have the extra time, but it's built into the test. All right. There are 40 questions, not a lot of time to do it. Definitely answer the easy ones first, get those all down, and then think about the hard ones. And that's the way to do it. The first section is a conversation between two people. We're going to hear that one. The second is a monologue in a social context, very similar. What's available at the library? What are the tourist options for this town? Things like that. Then we get into the academic level, section 3, up to 4 people talking about an assignment or something of that nature. And the last is an academic monologue or lecture. It absolutely is not specialist language. It will all be general English, not specialist language. So don't worry about that. But this is your reason to read widely. Read something in News and Levels in a subject you've never read before. It might be on the exam. It might be one of those subjects that you have to talk about in the speaking exam, or maybe it will be one of the documents, the same subject as one of the documents in the reading exam, or perhaps it'll be the talk, a similar subject to the talk that you will hear in the listening exam. So read widely, read subjects you've never heard before, and listen as well. So all of those options all of those possibilities in the 6-minute English. Take a subject that you've never thought about before and listen, and keep listening to it till you understand it. Okay, you can repeat those and read along with those transcripts, and that will get you there. How many questions do you need to get right? Right, here's the scores. What band score do you need? How many questions do you need? You can get 5 questions right and still get an 8. An 8, right? That's higher than just about anybody needs to get into even a Russell Group university. A 7.5 will get you into the Russell Group. That's our top universities in England. So, but we're usually aiming for a 6.5 to a 7. And look at that, 10 questions. You can get 10 questions wrong and still get the 7 that you need. Don't forget that. Some of the questions will be too hard. So let's look at the strategies we're going to use. All right. The most important thing is to find the guide words. These are all the same things that we looked at in the reading. All right. So a quick read of the questions, and you know what you're going to be hearing. I don't know why that's highlighted. I'm going to unhighlight that because it doesn't need highlighting. There we go. So working on synonyms, building the breadth of your vocabulary is really important to raise your score. Look at the clues in the sentences. If there's a gap, the grammar is going to show you what kind of a word you need to fill it. And practice targeted listening. So read that, read the news and levels, and then at the end, listen to that, listen to the reading of it at the end. Can you hear the who, what, where, and why of that story? So practice that kind of listening. And then the other is, this is the most important, listen forward. What do I mean by listen forward? Well, you're going to experience it because we're going to be listening. If you spend too much time trying to answer a question that is past, you will miss the next answer. The answers to the listening test come in the order of the questions. Okay, so question 1, the answer, you will hear it before you hear question 2. What does that mean if you didn't hear question 1 and you hear the answer to question 2? That means answer question 2 and start listening for question 3. All right. Forget about 1. You can guess it at the end. All right. You can guess it at the end. Always be listening for the next question. If you try and figure out question 1 when you've already heard the answer to question 2, you will miss the answer to question 3. All right. So we don't want to do that. The biggest fear in this, the worst thing that can happen in the listening exam is for you to lose your place so that you can't tell which question you're listening for. All right. So keeping in time, making sure that if you hear the answer to question 3, you are looking for the question for answer 4. All right. So you've read that question, you know what you're listening for. All right. That's what I mean by listen forward. All right. Less of me talking and more of doing it. All of the practices can be found in my Google Drive. All right, I've taken you there before. I will show you the file again. It's right there. So in the listening practice, you will find the audio tracks for, if I go back, so this is in listening 1. So if I go into the IELTS listening, I click on listening 1, and I've got the PDF of the questions right there, and I've got the 4 tracks to listen to, and then the answers down there. All right, so what we're going to do, but I've copied these over. Yeah, I know that was messy, but I needed to do that to get that over there. So I'm going to use that to play those. That's where you can find them. And here we go. So oftentimes, especially at the beginning in the first section, there will be a chart or a table of some information like this. So quick glance at this. I want to in the chat, tell me 2 things that you know about what you are going to hear. What are 2 things that you can immediately tell me about what's in this chart here? What kind of information are we looking at? What kind of information are we looking at here? So, what are we doing? What have we got here? Language school, right? And then what have we got? We've got different languages. And what's underneath those languages? Yes, levels. Okay, so, and then under that are the days and times that the courses go on. So the first one, we're going to be listening for, what will it be? So down here, you've got Tuesday and Thursday. So those are days of the week. So what are we going to be listening for our first answer? Yep. Well, we've got evenings. So what's missing? So we've got here, if we look at the next example, we've got Tuesday and Thursday mornings. So yes, this is going to be a day of the week. It's going to be Monday, Tuesday, one of those days of the week. All right. How about number 2? What's missing here? What was there that's missing here? Yep, that's going to be the level. Excellent. And number 3, again. Excellent. And how about number 4? What's this going to be? Time of day. Exactly. Okay. So how much have we learned just by looking at this? We know exactly what we're going to be listening for, don't we? All right. Now, did we take too long doing this? Yes. Yes, we did. This was very slow. The way you get faster is by practicing. That's why I've got that file full of practices. All right. So practice is what's going to make you fast. And when you've done this enough, you'll see something like this. You'll immediately see, where are the gaps? What's in those gaps in the other parts? How do I make sure I know exactly what I'm looking for? And you'll do it fast because you've practiced. And then you'll go into the exam, you'll open the paper. No panic, no drama. Oh, yeah, I know how to do these. Good, let's do it. All right, so I'm going to play audio track 1 now.
Practice test 1. You will hear a number of different recordings and you'll have to answer questions on what you will hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. Write all of your answers on the test pages. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to section 1 on page 5. Section 1. You will hear a man asking for information about language classes over the phone. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 4 on page 5.
This is the time to do what we just did.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
This no longer happens. Okay, these are old. I'm sorry. They no longer do the example, but that pause that gave you time to read, that does happen. So everything up to now has been exactly as you will hear it in the exam. However, they no longer repeat this first section. That's the only difference.
Good morning, Globetrotters Language School. How may I help you?
Yes, I was wondering if you could give me some information on language classes.
The woman answers the phone. Globetrotters Language School. So the word Globetrotters has been written at the top of the form. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4.
Good morning, Globetrotters Language School. How may I help you?
Yes, I was wondering if you could give me some information on language classes.
Certainly. What language are you interested in studying?
Well, that's the thing. I'm interested in learning Japanese, but I'd also like to improve my Chinese. I don't know which to study right now.
Maybe the class schedule will help you decide. Did you want to study in the morning, afternoon, or evening?
I work in the evenings, so mornings or afternoons would be best.
Then that decides it for you. We offer an advanced Chinese class, but it meets on Wednesday and Friday evenings.
I couldn't do that. When do the Japanese classes meet?
We have beginning Japanese on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. No, wait, that's intermediate Japanese. Which level do you want? Advanced?
No, beginning, definitely. I know some Chinese and some French, but I'm a real beginner with Japanese.
Well then, are you free Monday, Wednesday and Friday mornings? That's when the beginning Japanese classes meet. We also have intermediate French on Friday mornings.
I could do those mornings, but I'd prefer afternoon. Don't you have anything in the afternoon?
We have intermediate Japanese class on Wednesday and Friday afternoons.
I really need a beginner class, so I'll take the morning Japanese class. Could you give me an idea of the cost? What would be the tuition for the Japanese class?
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10 on...
Right. So, did you hear the answers?
This one is first one Wednesday.
I'm
Evenings.
sorry?
Wednesday evenings.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand. I think my audio is not clear. Can you repeat that? Oh, Fridays and Wednesdays. Thank you. I'm sorry. Excellent. So, yep, we have Fridays and Wednesdays. Oops. Right. And how about the Japanese? What level is on Tuesday and Thursday mornings? Yes, very good. Excellent. So there we go. How about the mornings? Yes, beginner. So, and last of all, yes, that was Friday mornings. Exactly. So let's see how we did. Oops. Oh, there we are. I was going to say, I knew I had it there. Right. So we've got Wednesday and Friday. Yes, evenings for our Chinese intermediate and morning. So well done. Now, I've done something slightly different. Look at the way I've written these and look at how they are written here. So if you want to get all the marks, you need to write it the way everything else is written. All right. And there's another thing that I want to point out. Notice what it says up here in the instructions. These are very important. The instructions here. So those instructions are very important. Notice that, what does it say? No more than 3 words, right? So that means, can you have 2 words? What do you think? If it says no more than 3 words, can you have 2 words in your answer? 1 word in your answer? 4 words in your answer? Exactly. 3 words and a number in your answer? No, no more than 3 words means you can have 3 words or less, and that's it. All right. Now, there is something very important. And counts. Okay. The word and, the word the word a, as in an ostrich. No, that's an again. Why can I on a lion? You're right. The word a counts. So all of those were every single word, even the articles count in the word count, and you've got to be under the maximum, no more than 3 words. So this is fine because it's only 3 words. All right. If we had written Wednesday and Friday evenings, we would have had 4 words and it would not be correct. All right. It's that precise. So, but no problem if you practice. Let's go on to the next set. So let's
Page
look at
5.
Yes. What are we listening for? We've got numbers here, and we've got, once again, words. What have we got? 1 number is our instruction here. We're listening for the prices, right? And how do they get registered? Remember, the information is going to come in the same order.
Now listen and answer questions 5 to 10.
The beginning level classes meet 3 times a week, so they cost a bit more than the other levels. For a 6-week course, the cost would be $575.
That's a bit steep.
If it's hard for you to pay that much, you could sign up for just 4 weeks of class and pay $410, or you could pay for 1 week at a time at $125 a week.
That comes out to be much more expensive once you add up all the weeks.
That's true. You can save money by registering for 2 levels together. For example, pay for your beginning and intermediate classes now, and you'll get 12 weeks of class for just $1,050.
That's not a bad deal, but I can't come up with that much money at once. I'll just pay for the 6-week course.
Fine. That class begins next week, so you need to register right away.
Can't I register over the phone?
No, I'm sorry, we don't take phone registrations. What you'll need to do is visit the school office today or tomorrow. Bring a cheque for the tuition and a photo ID.
Is that all?
Yes, we'll give you a registration form to complete, or you can save time by visiting our website and downloading the form there. Complete it and bring it into the office with your cheque.
Great. I'll stop by this afternoon.
Fine. When you arrive, ask for Mr. Lindsay. He's in charge of student registration.
I'm sorry, Mr. Who?
Mr. Lindsay, spelled Lindsay.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you in class.
That is the end.
Right. That one was harder. It was faster, wasn't it? So, what did you hear? Yep. So this is where making sure that you take notes while you're doing this. Let's see. Yeah. Keep going. Has everyone got it? So did you hear all of the answers? Yes. Exactly. Oh, it was 410. So all right. Well done. Well done, everyone. It's a challenging one. So we have to visit the school office. Exactly. And you have to, especially when they've spelled it out, you have to make sure that you've got the name exactly right. Now, there is an easy way to make sure that you don't have any mistakes in capitalization, and that is to put your answers in all caps, in all capital letters. If you do that, you will not have any errors for capitalization. All right. So I do recommend it. You can do that, so you can. Yeah, 410. Yes. But the numbers have to be written the right way. Do you want to listen to that one again? What do you think? Or shall we keep going? Okay, let's give that one more try and see if we can really hear all of those answers. I'll try and get it in the right place.
What would be the tuition for the Japanese class?
Oops, there we go.
No, wait, that's intermediate Japanese.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10 on page 5.
Okay. Oops, no, that didn't work. I'm sorry. Just made a mistake. There. There we go. I'm sorry, I can't seem to speed this up.
Now listen and answer questions 5 to 10.
The beginning level classes meet 3 times a week, so they cost a bit more than the other levels. For a 6-week course, the cost would be $575.
That's a bit steep.
If it's hard for you to pay that much, you could sign up for just 4 weeks of class and pay $410, or you could pay for 1 week at a time at $125 a week.
That comes out to be much more expensive once you add up all the weeks.
That's true. You can save money by registering for 2 levels together. For example, pay for your beginning and intermediate classes now, and you'll get 12 weeks of class for just $1,050.
That's not a bad deal, but I can't come up with that much money at once. I'll just pay for the 6-week course.
Fine. That class begins next week, so you need to register right away.
Can't I register over the phone?
No, I'm sorry. We don't take phone registrations. What you'll need to do is visit the school office today or tomorrow. Bring a cheque for the tuition and a photo ID.
Is that all?
Yes, we'll give you a registration form to complete, or you can save time by visiting our website and downloading the form there. Complete it and bring it into the office with your cheque.
Great. I'll stop by this afternoon.
Fine. When you arrive, ask for Mr. Lindsay. He's in charge of student registration.
I'm sorry, Mr. Who?
Mr. Lindsay, spelled Lindsay.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you in class.
Excellent. I see that already. I see people in the chat saying that they get it now. So now you know what you need to work towards. I think that's probably the most important thing about what we're doing right now, is looking at, okay, yes, the first time you experience it, it seems overwhelming. So how are you going to make this easier for yourself? There's only one way, and that is practice. Okay, it's a strange thing to have to do. And so because this is a new skill, pulling out these pieces of information, because it's a new skill, you are going to need to practice to get it there, to get yourself ready for the class. Let's look at the next one real quick, because I want you to see the, she started with the next question. I'm not sure I understand. You can always put your microphone on and ask if you need. So yes. Oh yes, those were not in the exact order, were they? I think it's just a slightly bad example, because usually they are. That does make that one particularly hard. So the next one we're going to look at is a map, but I do want to try and get this in quickly. Yes, they were not quite in order. I want to get this in quickly. This is one of those where, again, you need to really keep track of where you are. So if you can, with your cursor or with a pencil, if you're on paper, and I will do it for us. I'm going to put the cursor where we physically are being described in order to follow the directions. All right, so this one is about following directions on a map. So let me get there real quick, hopefully.
Section 2. You will hear a tour guide giving information about a shopping district. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15 on page 6.
All right. So what have we got? We've got letters on this cross street. We've got Cherry Street and Pear Street. And we've got the names of particular shops, right? So what do you think we're going to need to do? Figure out which shop is which exactly. So it's going to be very important to know where
As you listen to the first part of the talk, answer questions 11 to 15.
This afternoon, we'll visit the city's shopping district. Several blocks in the area are closed to car traffic, and I know you'll enjoy walking around there. I'd like to give you an overview of the district now, since you'll be on your own once we get there. You'll see on this map here that the shopping district consists of 2 streets, Pear Street, which runs north and south, and Cherry Street, which crosses Pear Street right here. Let's start our tour here on Pear Street, where the star is. This star marks the Harbor View Bookstore. It's very popular among locals as well as tourists. You can buy a range of books of local interest, as well as a variety of magazines and newspapers. It's directly across the street from the city library, which is also worth a visit. It's in one of the oldest buildings in the city and contains, among other things, an interesting collection of rare books. Now, moving up Pear from the bookstore toward Cherry, the next building on the left is the Pear Cafe. You'll notice it's right on the corner of Pear and Cherry Streets. It's a great place to relax while enjoying a delicious cup of coffee or tea. You can talk with friends or read quietly. They have a variety of books and magazines available. From the windows of the cafe, you can look right across Cherry Street for a lovely view of city gardens. It's a rather small garden, but it contains a variety of exotic plants and flowers. Let's leave the cafe and cross Pear Street. On the opposite corner, we're at Caldwell's Clothing Store, which you might also want to visit. They sell both men's and women's fashions from countries around the world. Continuing down Cherry Street, the next building on the right after Caldwell's is the Souvenir Shop. Stop in here to get maps and books about the local area, as well as T-shirts and postcards with pictures of the city. Now, we cross Cherry Street and we're at the Art Gallery, one building down from the corner. Here you can see, and of course purchase, many fine paintings and sculptures by local artists. Let's keep going down Cherry Street toward the harbor. On the left, right after the gallery, is Harbor Park. It's a lovely place, and it's certainly worth spending some time there.
Right. So, did you see how when she talked about the library, did I keep the cursor over there? No, I kept it where we were. I only moved the cursor when we moved. All right, when she said, okay, now we're going to go. All right, so what is number 11? Yes, well done. Good listening. Excellent. What is 12? Yes. Very good. Where is the souvenir store? Yes, you got it. Good listening. Oh, well done. Well done. These can be some of the hardest ones, I promise. Following a map is really a challenge. Okay. What was directly across from the souvenir store? Yes, the art gallery, number 14. And the last one. Yes, exactly. Well done. Really well done. Good listening. Let's see. There we are. And you can double check and make sure you got them all right. So there's one more example here. So you can do that, but we're going to instead, what I really want to do is go back to Asia's page because she has an example, a really good example of, oops, sorry. Yeah. Come on, do the diagonal. Oh, there we are. Because I want to show you her one. Oh, right. She starts off. There we go. With yet more practice for listening to maps. Can I get this to move? No. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I'm going to have to stop sharing for a second so I can get this sorted out. There we go. And that's the one I wanted. I can't click on the right spot to save my life. There we are. There we go. Let me put that back up in the sharing zone. All right. So she's got, as you see here, now that I've managed to get it in the right place, listening maps, strategies for those. All right. She's got some more really good things for listening, including some practices, listening with multiple choice. All right. So wherever she says and practice, then it's the same as what we've done here. She's going to be guiding you through how you do the listening for that. So there's more opportunities. And don't forget, there's all of the practice tests that I have in the IELTS practice drive that I have shared with you. Has anybody had any difficulty getting to that drive? Is that working for you? Good. So long as it's working for you, that's really what I want. Those practice exams are just really important. The more you practice, the more relaxed you will be able to be in the exam. And there are fMRI images that prove if you can take a deep breath and relax, you will improve the blood flow in your brain and you won't have that, oh my God, I can't think moment. All right. If your brain goes blank in an exam, there is a real reason for this. And that is the, let me just put this down, and that is anxiety. It actually causes your brain to slow down. All right. Let me just very quickly take the register here. Yeah, there we go. It's most of us. I'm afraid I probably missed a few people who were here earlier. If you've got any questions, please let me know now. And I'm glad you're able to get to the exams. Do send me emails if you're having any difficulty. Over the next few weeks during the break, I am happy to answer questions still. All right. So I will put my email address in the chat again. Let me just copy that. Oh, come on. Just copy it. There we go. I'll put that in the chat again. Please do email me if you have questions. I do check it at least every other day. Maybe not every day, but at least every other day. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to hit